Alright, hello everybody, welcome to another video today. My name is Chris, and today we have some breaking news to go over. That's right, Century 21 department stores are planning a major comeback outside of the United States of America. So, before we get into the article, this was posted, I believe, today or yesterday on Century 21's website, and this is the statement that they put out when you go to their website. Century 21 stores. The story continues. Century 21 stores announces the legendary brand will be back. Never count out a New Yorker. In response to the outperforming love of the Big Apple and the admiration of their loyal shoppers from around the world, Century 21 announced that they will officially relaunch the beloved institution in 2021. While specifics of where and when are still being finalized, the plan has one goal in mind: to bring shopping joy to Century 21's faithful local customers while introducing that very same excitement to new fans across the globe. The Gindys, the family behind the icon, have always held a true to the foundation upon which Century 21 was built, to deliver outstanding value to customers. Following the bankruptcy, the Gindy family brought back the intellectual property of the Century 21 brand, ensuring that Century 21 stores will continue to be a family fun run business with the synonymous, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, with value and luxury. They are determined to be a beacon of hope for the city and the country. Global expansion as the relaunch of the brand in New York and across the country will be announced in the coming weeks. Hashtag Century 21 is back. So this is very exciting news, to say the least. I actually just saw this now, but this is again really exciting. And there was actually an article posted this morning, and I was very excited to see it. It was on this thing called WWD, which unfortunately I cannot get access to here, but I'm going to read the article right off my phone because somehow I'm able to get access on it through my phone. So Century 21 is planning a comeback trail. The Gindy family is eager to get their once high-trafficked and popular off-price chain back in business, but proceeding pragmatically. Century 21 is coming back, and the rebirth will begin in Busan, South Korea. WWD has learned. Century 21 department stores went bankrupt in 2020 and closed all of its stores on Sunday, December 6th, 2020. I just added that in there. During the bankruptcy process, the Gindy family, which owned and operated founded the famous price chain, brought back the intellectual property in November for $9 million, together with a silent partner. The Gindys are developing a strategy to resurrect the off-pricer, which was always presented in an assortment that, compared to other off-pricers, skewed higher in luxury, had many European labels, and deeper breadth, and consistently drew big crowds of bargain hunters. Typically, Century 21 offered discounts of from 40% off to 65% off, and up to 90% off on clearance. At its peak, it was a $700 million business. To help them get back in the game, the Gindys have recruited Mark Benetz, a former executive at Coach, Kenneth Cole, Authentic Brands Group, and most recently CAA GBC Brand Management Group. He has also been named president of Century 21 Stores, reporting to the Gindys Raymond, Isaac, Eddie, and IG. Last year was particularly devastating for many people around the world, and extremely hard for us as a family business. My dad and his partner started Century 21 60 years ago. We really thought we would get through the year, but it all kind of happened quickly, said Raymond Gindy, co-chief executive officer of Century 21, in his first interview on the bankruptcy and the future of the retailer. The bankruptcy filing and liquidation, which the liquidation, by the way, was done by Hilco Merchants, came as a shock to shoppers and the industry. The Gindys blamed it on the pandemic and the inability to recover disaster insurance. A lawsuit against the insurance company is pending. What was comforting was that the outpouring of emotion from all of our different sources. We were getting inundated by people egging us on, telling us you just can't let it be over. That's what spurred us on. It's our legacy. It's our family business. We got to roll up our sleeves and get back in there. So this is big. Century 21 will open in South Korea, most likely in summer of 2021, said Bentz. It will be a freestanding store with approximately 9 levels and 100,000 square feet with a lift facade. The sheer magnitude and visibility will be unparalleled. The store will be licensed to operate a retailer that Bennett's declined to mention at this point. Many brands and vendors have already been in contact about the overseas store, Century 21's first ever. Century 21 always drew many shoppers from overseas, specifically South Korea, Gindy said, adding that before the coronavirus outbreak, the family was interested in expanding abroad and had received ventures from interest parties in South Korea. We went on hold because of the pandemic. Part of the reason for us to restart is that they kept in contact with us, said Gindy. Back in 2018, the Gindys came up with a rebranding strategy, including a new logo and a smaller brick-and-mortar format of 600,000 square feet of retail space. Updated store layouts, ramping up e-commerce, and omni capabilities such as buy online, pick up in stores. It was internally called the Path for 2021, which was a 3-year rollout schedule. A store was planned for the American Dream Entertainment and Retail Complex in East Rutherford, New Jersey. It would have been the largest format, projecting a more contemporary design, modern fixturing, and the new logo, which obviously, as everybody knows, that store is officially abandoned. Korea was part of the plan in regards to our long-term strategy. Koreans were always fans of Century 21, and we began rethinking our iconic destination and in ways to bring it to their soil, said Gindy, referring to the Lower Manhattan store, which was on Cortlandt Street, which was near the World Trade Center. In comparison to the U.S., Korea represents a fraction of COVID-19 cases and, grimly, the COVID-19 deaths. It's a beacon of hope in regards to the controlled measures to cope with COVID-19. Businesses are thriving and continuing to attract more customers. The new Century 21 would expand to other countries. We are voraciously looking into opportunities to start opening stores around the world in China, Hong Kong, Europe, Canada, Australia, and South America, Bennett said. Though outside of Korea, no other stores are set, but conversations are happening. Asked about reopening stores in the U.S., Gindy replied, "We believe a New York City flagship is important. It could be on 34th Street, Herald Square, or in Times Square. But we are not working on that now. I don't think the U.S. is ready for it. The customer and the traffic are not back yet." Gindy said, with COVID-19 raging across the country, it will take time to refigure out what the strategy is going forward for the United States. The executives said after Korea, the next growth move could be to restart e-commerce within a month. Century 21 will activate again on social media. "We will be reactivating that engagement with our loyal followers," said Bennett. "In terms of our storytelling, we are going to look to consumers to help us narrate the story, to share their favorite purchases or a favorite Century 21 experience. My role as president is to ensure the DNA of the business and the Gindy family values are always met, but the consumer-facing opportunities are going to be met in a way that's a little more modern," he added. "The Gindys brought me to an overseas launch," Bennett said. "I have been in retail for over 25 years. My first retail job was at the Century 21 flagship as a department manager in children's. You might remember their slogan, 'Fashion worth fighting for.' That was real life, not just a clever campaign. We saw many customers literally fight over the goods. There was a strong value. The selection was limited. We opened at 7 a.m. and by noon was completely gutted by customers. The team had to rush to get the floor rest with goods. It was daunting. When the Gindys walked by, you knew everything had to be buttoned up." The issue of the business interruption insurance dates back to 1993, when the first terrorist attack on the World Trade Center. Being cautious, the Gindys decided they should get the policy for their business. Raymond's father, the late Al Gindy, had a custom to policy written. After 9/11 in the Lower Manhattan, killing nearly 3,000 people and destroying the World Trade Center as well as the Century 21 flagship, the insurance company did come through on the claim, and the Gindys were able to rebuild. However, the family was unable to get the disaster relief from the same insurance company which would have helped them navigate Century 21 through the pandemic. They sought about a $105 million insurance to stem the losses, a lawsuit pending. We were quite confident and we had coverage, said Gindi. On top of that, the PPP, Payment Protection Program, was something we were working on. We were too big to qualify as a standard for a smaller business, and not enough like the big mega companies that could get their bailouts. We were in the middle. We weren't getting anything. We talked to the Treasury about our situation. They were sympathetic and told us to hang on. And we thought the cavalry was coming. Legislation did not pass that covered companies like us, but for various technical reasons it did not work out. The money was never there. The insurance company continued their stonewalling, and we got no assistance. Just like the switch turning in the middle of July, everything came crashing down on us. We were trying to come up with solutions. In the end, we were forced into liquidation by Hilco merchants. Career-wise, those were the hardest days for the weeks and the months. We were walking around in the days. Going bankrupt in September, Gindi was a well-thought-out, hard decision. We were left with no choice. All 13 Century 21 stores, which were located in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Florida, ran going-out-of-business sales with Hilco merchants and closed on Sunday, December 6, 2020. Though our aspects of the liquidation process continue, possibly into April, during the bankruptcy proceedings, the Gindi saw a way back. It's a learning process on how we had to buy back our own name. Frankly, it was like a bidding war. The final bidding price was triple what the banks wanted, the creditors and attorneys estimated. I am a firm believer that the comeback is always stronger than the setback, said Bennett. Century 21 may come back in different shapes and forms, but the DNA and the family values will always be there. We want to make sure the experience and any international location doesn't see much of a difference from any store you saw in a city. Global standardizing is going to be a key buzzword. So this is quite an article to go over. I'm very happy that Century 21 is coming back personally. I'm certainly looking forward to their expansion down the road. I think it's very smart, though, to start in South Korea, especially given the pandemic. They don't want to go right now into somewhere where the pandemic is not under control, and South Korea just happens to be one of those countries where the pandemic is controlled and where consumers can feel confident. So I think that's a very smart move by Century 21, and of course I'm looking forward to seeing their rebirth down the road. I don't think we're going to see any new stores in the United States yet. People are going to have to get vaccinated first, and the infection rates are going to have to go down in order for Century 21 to possibly look at expanding in the U.S. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on Century 21. Make sure to check the link located in the description below. And yeah, so anyways, guys, thank you again for and obviously their note on the website too. I'll make sure to put that in the link located in the description below. So anyways, guys, thank you again for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this video, and that will be it.